Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined by Jonny V here in the SmashBoxx studios.
Sidekick.
Yeah, I guess you're...
Well, I'm right next to you, so...
That's
that way.
Okay.
Not like I'm...
Which way? Which way?
You're deaf in one ear, so...
What's that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I somehow managed to always put myself on the good side, so to speak. I am almost completely deaf in my right ear, so that's why you're... I don't know. It works out.
You have headphones on, so it doesn't really matter.
It does. And again, well, that's a great plug. We'll talk Wander & Co. Again, I got to thank our boy Drew Griswold for the amazing headphones. Social media causes. He goes out there. You purchase items from him. Everything that you buy goes back to benefiting a cause. And Drew had sponsored and hooked us up with a pair of these sweet headphones. I don't know when you're going to get yours.
You know, if I get a pair, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
If I don't, you know what? Drew's got to make a living. He's a small business, and I understand not being able to give up the inventory.
We're a special cause in our own way, though, too, in some regard.
I suppose.
So we are here. This is podcast number 9, and we are breaking new ground tonight in that we are going to have a dual guest segment with Valarie and Nate Doss.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
I think so. You know, we're not... There's no company bias. We got, we're split up between the two there.
Two major sponsors there.
Sponsors. There's no gender bias.
No.
Last week we had Uli, and this week we're gonna have
Nate
and Val.
Went from Prodigy over to Innova and Discraft. So we spread the love.
We do.
That's what we do.
Really do.
Spread the love. Everybody's getting in on the action. I know they have a few mutual sponsors that they both agree on besides the disc, but we'll get into that when we talk to them. We've got lots of other good things going on. Of course, go ahead and change your settings over to 720. You said you weren't going to announce that anymore. Maybe I will.
I'm done.
If you want to see better resolution, go ahead and change on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're not watching it in full screen already, you can change it on the right-hand side. So, HD action, 720p. HD? I don't know. Some letters.
Just P.
All right, 720p, something like that.
Once again, I know we didn't do it last week, but we don't have to do it every week. I want to thank Scott Black for the intro music that he gave us. I'm hoping this week people don't get a repeat of that. I think I fixed that issue. And as far as that goes, I know we had 1 or 2 complaints about the audio in the last podcast, and I believe now that I had a little bit of time to sit and play around, I think I've got that fixed. So if you're listening to this via the audio-only podcast, I know it was a little bit quiet for some people, so I think we're going to be able to boost that up in post or in during or something like that. So
normalize it. That's a really awkward word when it comes to some people.
When it comes to us?
Yeah, normalize.
There's nothing.
Some people in the industry know that. I don't think it can be applied to us. And of course, we have a huge group of people out there on the live chat already. Yep. We're going to continue.
Yeah, if you don't know, we do this podcast live online, 9 o'clock Central Time every Tuesday.
Yeah.
So the people on the chat clearly know that, but maybe some of the people listening after the fact don't.
Yeah, they don't know. They're taking it in afterward. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to come up with incentives for you to be able to log in, and when you're watching us live, there might be an added bonus or a benefit or a giveaway that you may not get if you're listening to a post-recorded version. So look for those in the next couple of weeks. We've got a couple sponsors that we're talking to and lining up, and it's going to be we want to get as many people here live as possible. So go out and share the link. Share the information. Let everyone know that we're out there and we're getting to it right now. We see a good group of people in the chat board, and as best as we can, we try and keep up with everyone in the chat board as we're doing the rest of the show here. So you've got a couple of quick, let's just go right through the agenda items real quick.
We're going to catch up with Dana. Some event updates from this past weekend.
You mean no disc golf boy? AJ Risley, he's gone?
Well,
that was it?
Well, for now. Last week we said Dana and AJ surprised us.
That's true.
So we're going to see who hijacks the stream this week. We're going to do some news around the sport. Then we'll get to our interview with Nate and Val. At that point, then we're going to move on to probably some pro tips, and then maybe talk about some stuff on social media. There's quite a lot of hubbub this week.
Yeah, there is.
And then we'll get some weekly picks.
Yes, I think I'm going to put a little teaser out there, a little teaser. You guys might be a little shocked by what my pick is this week.
Oh.
I'm a little shocked, but
nice.
Just wait for that. That's at the end of the show, so
and
a little teaser.
Just to prove that we follow through on what we promise, Out there, Jason Hawes says that, Luke H. says that he got his hat from Dana that he won.
Yes. Well, thank you to Dana.
Yeah, thanks to Dana.
And thanks to Paragon, who I know is also the sponsor of that. And I got a nice big mug shout out. Thanks to Miles over at Paragon for helping us out, helping with all of our sweet Smashbox action. Non-alcoholic. That's the way I roll. All right.
Not me. All right. So let's catch up with Dana here. I see that he is on. So let's dial him. And you know what? I think for Dana, we got something special right here.
Yeah, we do. Let's do it. And welcome to the show, Dana Vicich. Dana, how are we doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good. It feels good to be. Feels good to see you guys.
Yeah,
we missed you last week.
We missed you. We heard you were indisposed. You went to I think it was a One Direction concert,
or was it the Biebs?
Which
was it?
Could have been Justin Bieber.
You got a haircut, so I'm gonna guess Biebs.
You guys could tell.
Of course.
I was at that. I didn't cut it myself this time. I decided to buck up and pay the $20 for a haircut. So it's even this time.
You're getting paid good money from not us, but other people apparently.
Somewhere.
Well, you look good, buddy. We're glad to have you back. AJ did a pretty good job, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
Did a lot of homework for the show. We're hoping that you did the same.
Yeah, he really stepped it up last week and came with some good stuff. And thank you, AJ, for helping out. And I appreciate the big hug. In the past, the big hug that we've given out has paid off for the people that we've given big hugs to. So I hope that your big hug to me works, and I can surpass that 10,000 earned next year. So
we see big things in your future. So let's get right to it. What do you have? This may literally be the single slowest weekend of disc golf that took place. What did you find for us?
Well, down in Florida, we had a B tier down in St. Pete called the Tocobaga Games. Is that Tocobaga?
Yeah, that looks about right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I had a first run buzz from the Tocobaga Games in '03. But anyways, Brian Moore cruised to an 11th row win over Alexi Bubis, who got second place. And he shot pretty solid. And I'm going to break protocol here, guys.
Uh-oh.
I usually like to wait till the end, the climax, to do the big hug. But I'm going to give the big hug to Alexi Bubis and the rest of the pros down there at that little B tier. I'm going to give you guys a big hug. Brian Moore kicked your guys' butts. So.
How many other pros were there that he took advantage of?
There was at least 20, I believe. So,
I believe you said that he cruised to at least 11. Was it 11 strokes over Alexi and then the rest of the field?
Yep, Alexi was the closest in second place, and he was 11 throws behind. And then the rest of the field was stacked up pretty close to Alexi.
Now, Alexi's not a name that we hear very often. He hasn't been that prominent on the scene for a while.
Now, for a few years, what do you know any stories there or updates for us?
Alexi kind of was leaving the scene about the time I started traveling around and playing events. But he's a Florida pro. He was once 10-16 rated, and he's only played 2 events since 2010. But this past year, wow. It's weird to say this past year in reference to 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But, kind of like the first time writing on a check or something in 2015. It's just, sorry.
It blows everyone's mind. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So this past year in 2014, he doubled that and played 4 tournaments. And it looks like he's got this one under his belt this year already. And he's signed up for Throwdown the Mountain, which is in a couple weeks. So it sounds like Alexi has caught the disc golf bug again, and so maybe we'll see his name popping up around Florida in the southeast.
Well, it doesn't look like you lost a step, that's for sure.
No, what that really means is it sounds like you're creating more work for me. It sounds like there's a storyline there. It sounds like maybe when I travel to throw down the mountain next week in Florida, I can sit down and have an interview with him and catch up with him. Now, wasn't part of the story that he was a semi-pro or maybe aspiring pro tennis player? Wasn't he a really... Do you know that story there, Dana? I might be a few years removed, but I thought that was the story. He was a really phenomenal tennis player.
I don't know, but I saw some video of him at a Florida tournament earlier this year, and he's like a big built, strong looking dude. So I could see him definitely being, an athlete. He's probably hitting a ball of sorts, whether it's a baseball or a tennis ball or smashing people on the football field. He looked like a football player, but.
Okay, I'm sure somebody on our chat board. And speaking to that real briefly, we've got Eric McCabe, who's normally chimed in. We've got Nate Sexton, so a bunch of superstars out on the chat board. I think Eric McCabe's going to even give something away just to help support the show. But anyway, so maybe somebody on the chat board could chime in with Alexi's background. I thought it was tennis, but anyway, what else you got for us, Dana?
So before I move on, you did say you're going to be down to throw down the mountain?
Yes, I am.
In what capacity is this? SmashBox? You're not doing live, right?
I am not doing live. SmashBox will not be covering this live. It's really a cell-related signal issue out there. There's just not enough good cellular service, and that's the main way that we upload our signal to the interwebs for everyone. So I will be recording rounds. I'll be recording highlights, interviews, and then hopefully getting out some form of a highlight video or vlog, hopefully every day. That's the plan. I know last year I went down there. I saw you last year. I saw a number of other people down there, and it was a lot of fun. And a huge thanks to Mike Barnett and Legacy for making that happen. It's a pretty exciting event, knowing that he's now had to split the weekends. It's such an enormous event. He's having the AM weekend this weekend, and then next weekend the pros. Spanning Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I know Coling, Climo, Double G, Jonny McRae, who kicked off his tour last year at that event. So it should be really exciting. I know you were signed up, but sounds like you're not able to make it this year. You've got moving and other life-changing things going on. Isn't that the case?
Yeah, pretty much. With the big move coming up, it's got me a little strapped for cash. So. It's a big trip to take early in the year, especially with me going to the Memorial, just to spend that kind of money and blow my part of my budget that soon. I would love to. It was a fun event, and of course was a lot of fun. So
it's funny that to be in Florida and have them talk about throw down the mountain, and in Wisconsin, I'd consider that like a hill maybe out there. It's just
really?
There's definitely, there's elevation, don't get me wrong. There's not a lot of elevation, and I know at one point on the course you're on the 3rd or 5th highest point in Central Florida, I think is what Ken Climo said last year. Out of Central, exactly.
Like you divide Florida in this, like I could see the Panhandle versus it's the peninsula, but
but to have that mentality of this mountain or this hilly area, it has elevation, but in Wisconsin, I certainly wouldn't show up to that course and be like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe here. These hills are just too much. So by our standards, it's somewhat mild, but I guess they're not used to that in Florida. So Mike Barnett does a phenomenal job, and they really clean up the course. I think Brian, who you just mentioned, talk about karma, I believe Brian is one of the guys that does a lot of work on that course for Throw Down the Mountain and help tweaks and design some of the holes with Mike Barnett. So there it is. Do some disc golf work and then go out and win some tournaments. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. Maybe he can ride his good shooting from this weekend over to Throw Down the Mountain. So moving on. Believe it or not, there were a few more tournaments this past weekend, and it's not hard to believe that it was Spikeheiser running a couple of those tournaments. He ran 2 C-tiers in Charlotte, which were fundraisers for the Tim Selensky U.S. Masters. And winning both tournaments was MJ, Michael Johansson. He started out his 2015 season the right way. What do you think?
I like to win.
Yeah.
And
John?
maybe it gets boring for some of those people, though.
I'd love to win. What do you really?
No, I mean that's good. You should love to win.
No, I don't. I didn't say I love to win. I would love to win.
I know.
There's a big difference.
That's why I chuckled.
I'm guessing Michael Joe threw a few comets and he parked a few holes.
Yeah.
And probably won. That's what that guy does.
What were his margins? I mean, when you're in that area of the country, you're always up against a relatively tough or super stacked field. What was his margin of victory?
He won by a few throws at each one. It looked like it was relatively small turnout. There was another C tier, I think, on the coast of North Carolina, and it seemed like Schwebe and some of those other 1,000-rated pros went over and played in that, and I didn't quite catch the results for it to quote who won, but I know Schwebe got second there, so apologies to the winner to that one. But yeah, so it was a quiet weekend. Mm-hmm. So I am going to. Have we talked about any unsanctioned events yet?
We really haven't. There haven't since we started. I don't think there's been any real big unsanctioned events. I think I'm sure some of them are, but I think the next real big unsanctioned thing is going to be the ice bowls.
Yeah, ice bowls are popping up. I know I spoke with both AJ and Alan Risley out in California. They run a whole slew of them, 6, 8, 10 of them, a whole series of them, raising thousands of dollars and tons of food, literally tons of food, to be donated as part of the ice bowl mission. The ace races by Discraft I know happen usually in the fall, and then we see the Birdie Bashes by Vibram are usually more of a spring thing. The Legacy Battle of the Aces, those happen throughout the year. Did I notice is a sponsor of yours maybe even is Prodigy doing a par 2 challenge of sorts? Is that something that they're working on? Wasn't there a big one going on this last weekend somewhere?
Yeah, there actually was, and surprisingly to everybody involved. Will Schustrick ran one down in Nashville, but the surprising part was it was cold and windy. I guess cold and windy for Nashville, not cold and windy for us. But they had 95 total players come out and play in this par 2 event, and it sounded like people came from 3-4 hours away, and sounded like a good time. For those of you who don't know what a par 2 event is, I guess they're relatively new, and it's Will Schustrick and Prodigy's brainchild, but it's similar to all those other events you referenced. But par 2 is a casual, unsanctioned tournament with 9 to 15 holes that are roughly 150 feet and under.
Sign me up. Wait, you said the magic words. Well, under 200 feet, sign me up.
What they didn't say is heavily wooded, though. That's where you thrive.
All right. Anyway, go on.
It could be on any course, just set up some short tees. But the goal is to run at aces, get some twos, have fun, introduce new people to, I guess, a little more something, or a little more organized event. So the players get a disc, a Prodigy disc that is in 750 plastic that's not for sale. So either a PA1 or a PA2, which are putters, and you have to use the disc that you get in the player pack. You also get a hat and a nifty sticker, but it's a great way to promote, disc golf, get some beginners out there, and just have some fun in the off season. And I guess obviously the person with the lowest number of throws on the day wins. So nothing new on that part, but for $20 you get all that, and I guess after everyone played their rounds or round, if you only played one, Will put on a clinic, and it sounded like, minus the weather, it was a pretty fun day. And I was hoping
we take that weather.
I was hoping to announce my part 2 event, but I haven't been able to lock down a weekend quite yet. But it'll be sometime this winter. So,
well, once you do, feel free to throw in a shameless plug.
Yeah.
No, I know we mentioned a lot of the other ones. Every company seems to have these little challenges, and I wanted to give a shout out to Eric McCabe about the trilogy challenges. I don't know the exact details on them, but look
3 discs. You go out and play rounds of golf there. they have done that, I know, for the last year, maybe even 2 years now, and all of them are fun. I mean, really,
they're a blast. It's a great way to bring someone new into the sport.
Yeah, and they all are inexpensive and have their own different unique twists and turns to them, but they're all a lot of fun. And I know I had hosted literally a handful of different ones throughout the year, and like I said, including the Battle of the Aces, and had a really good time with all of them. So
that's cool.
Lots of good fun out there. Anything else for us, Dana?
Yeah, so what's new with Dana?
As I've kind of been talking about over the past few weeks and earlier, we're closing on our first house, my wife and I, on January 30th. So anybody out there who wants to come help me move, Jonny, maybe you could take off the day of work. Terry, you could get a babysitter. Come on down.
He'll just bring the kids.
Yeah.
Strap them up like mules.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is all kinds of stuff going on for that. And that actually, I need to write this down. I need to call Nate Heinold and make sure I have my home insurance with Ledgestone lined up. So
good call. Good call on that.
Yeah, and anyone else, another shameless, or not so shameless.
Not shameless.
Ledgestone, they're running a big tournament series, and then one of the biggest NT ever payout wise. So if you're in the Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana area, give Nate a call and at least get a quote. It can't hurt, and support the companies that are supporting disc golf. I know that's something that I strive to do. Like if I go to a turn, say I'm out on the West Coast in Seattle, I check out who some of the sponsors are, and I'm going to try to go to dinner. I'm going to try to go spend some money at some of the different sponsors. So, and let them know that I'm a disc golfer, and the reason that I'm in your establishment or the reason that I'm purchasing something from you is because you sponsored a disc golf event. So, let's do that with Nate and Ledgestone if you're in the area, and if you're not, check out the player books that you get at your tournaments and listen up when the TD is telling you who sponsored the event, and reach out and maybe spend some money or at least say thank you. So goes a long way.
I couldn't agree more. And before we move off that topic, I'll just say real quickly, a great event here in Wisconsin that's an A tier, that's certainly NT caliber. That's the Manitowoc in the Park. What he's done for the last few years, actually maybe every year, it's going to be in its 15th year this year.
Yeah,
Jonny V and I have been literally to all 15 of them since the existence of it. And what he's always done is put the phone numbers of the sponsors right next to their names. He has an entire sheet right in the player handbook, and he always encourages you to at least call one of those sponsors, one of the 50 sponsors that are on that list. Just call them and thank them.
Yeah.
And that's really gone a long way. I hope more and more people do it. I know I've tried to do it every year. And like you said, you hit on a really good point, Dana. When you do go in and visit a sponsor, if it's a sub shop or any kind of shop, a gas station, anyone that's given some kind of product or merchandise to a tournament, when you go in, it's great that you're patronizing them. That's one step. Always take that extra step, like you said, and say, hey, I'm Dana, and I'm from Illinois, but I'm here at this tournament, and I wanted to stop in and thank you for participating and being a sponsor of the tournament. That goes so far for these people. Mm-hmm. It's great they see an influx of business, but when they know the business is for sure coming from the actual disc golfers that they're sponsoring, I think it goes that much further. So really good. That's almost a pro tip there, Dana. I really like that one, buddy.
Yeah, and to take it a step further, I even wherever I go, I'm trying to tell them I'm here in town for disc golf, and it's just I try to leave a positive impact on disc golf, and let them know that hey, disc golfers like to spend money. So
very nice. Well, you need to quit spending money on expensive haircuts so that you can make all those big house payments now. What's it going to be like being a homeowner? I mean, this is the single largest purchase you'll make in your life. What's that feel like?
I'm excited. We're gonna have a fireplace, an unfinished basement, which I'm already scouting out nets that I can put up and throw in and putt in the basement. We got a great backyard, really nice house and good location next to pretty close to some major roads. So all in all, it's great. It's between my wife's family and my family. We're right in the middle, so yeah, just very excited.
Well, you had me at fireplace. I will bring my blanket and slippers, and I'd love to cuddle up. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
Let's move on.
All right. Anything else?
Well, I'm going to take one from the disc golf guy's book here.
Uh-oh, this can't be good. Do we have a delay on this, Johnny? We might. We should.
Yeah.
What do you got, buddy?
So, you know what? Before I say it, let's see if you can guess. What is something that I'm always giving you a hard time about, generally on Facebook? I know I give you a hard time about a lot of things, but
well, you're mad that you don't live in Wisconsin usually, and you playing our tournaments. You're usually giving us a hard time about that.
that's one thing.
You're mad that I don't do well at promoting my own events. I know I'm not very good at doing that. I need to do better at that.
Oh yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Let me think about all the things Dana doesn't like that I do.
I cheated and looked ahead on the notes, so I know.
I didn't look at the notes.
Clearly.
No, I don't know what else. What do you got for me?
I'll let you off the hook. It seems every other week you've got an announcement of a big upcoming announcement.
Oh, the pre-announcement.
Yes, you love those, I heard.
Yeah, it just kills me.
So what are you?
I got this big announcement, but now I guess the tables have turned, and here I am.
Mm-hmm.
So
what's your teaser? This is like a teaser to a trailer to a movie that's going to come out. So what's your teaser?
So I just want to have everyone be on the lookout for a big announcement coming in regards to the St. Jude PDGA event.
Oh, that's the big charity event.
Well, quiet. Shh. Not too much, Johnny.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that idea, Dana. I know a little bit of where you're going with it. I know some details. I know you know some details. We'll compare some notes, but I can get behind that. Absolutely. A big announcement about the St. Jude charity tournament.
Hopefully in the next week or so. Maybe next week we'll be able to talk about it. If not, hopefully the following week. But be on the lookout for it.
We won't have to because we'll be here when you announce it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be my announcement, but I'll be here to talk about it.
All right, good.
But be excited for it because I definitely am, and as you can see, Terry's really excited.
I am. And the announcement about the announcement that is
classic,
perfectly played,
classic
Dana. We do
Terry.
appreciate it. Thanks for being here tonight, buddy.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys again. And actually, I have one more big hug to give out.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I don't want to overdo the big hugs, but has anybody seen Matty O since the Alabama game?
No.
Uh-oh.
He's definitely not visiting us in Wisconsin.
Roll Tide, Matty O.
Roll
Big
Tide.
hug. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much for joining us, and
Thanks, Dana.
we'll see you next week. Yeah, sending some love out to Matty O. A second big hug. That's unprecedented.
For now.
For now. All right. We can't give out too many hugs. People might get creeped out by that. At least in prior experience.
Pretty soon it'll be the big restraining order. We're going to give out the big restraining order to John and Terry and Dana. All right. Well, we've got Nate and Val coming up soon, so let's run through the news of the sport that we've seen. I see that on our list here that Jen DeVries gets her first ace. Hole number 4, Newport News.
Absolutely. That's what I saw as well. Congratulations, Jen. Aces, everybody, well, not everybody gets them. People get them, and it's exciting and whatnot. And I would say my first ace was, it was 20-some years ago. And I remember it. I absolutely remember it.
I think everybody remembers their first time.
They should. Even if you have dozens or hundreds of them, you should remember that first ace. Probably the disc, probably the hole, the wind and everything else that day. So I saw it. Wanted to just send a big shout out. Jen DeVries gets her first ace. Again, hole number 4, Newport News, which is actually the name of the course, which I thought was odd, but I did some research, and $104 in the ace pool, so you cannot argue with that $100 bill, y'all. So very nice. Congratulations, Jen.
looks like we have a new record being broken.
Yeah, I need to get all of the details. It sounds as if Nate Wygren here, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, he has been playing a ton this year, also picked up here by Legacy Disc as his new sponsor. He talked a little bit about it on his Facebook page. I'm just going to read real quickly what he had posted about his rookie year being over, and he's excited. He played 61 PDGA events, 46 professional events, which included a major, an NT, 4 A tiers, 19 B tiers, 21 C tiers. He played in 8 different leagues, 4 collegiate events, and 3 amateur tournaments, and finished with 7 open wins and $4,848 in prize money. So a monster year of traveling.
Yep.
And we just wanted to announce and say how exciting that is.
And a gauntlet has been thrown down.
Presumably so. Schwebby had said that his wife might be mad because he's going to want to go out and reclaim the most amount of...
Schwebby was in the high 50s or something like that for a year. A couple of years ago, he went out and just all around the East Coast and a lot of different places, but mostly around the East Coast.
Yeah.
And almost every weekend.
Yeah, it was, and then some. And I know he had set the new PDGA record. And like you said... Nate here is Nate's a little younger too. Schwebby's master's age.
That's
we'll just say super early 40s, master's age. And Nate, however, is I believe he's going to college or is just completing college, so he's got the young factor on his side.
He's got that drive.
pretty amazing stuff.
All right, let's. I'll let you see a couple of your shameless plugs here.
Yeah, and we know. With it being somewhere around negative 10 or 15 today with wind chill here in Wisconsin, I'd like to send out a big warm invite for all of you to come play disc golf in Wisconsin. In a couple of weeks, I've got the Snowblown Open 7. It's a PDGA C tier. I'm going to be hosting that in New London, Wisconsin, tiny little town.
Is it going to be negative 30 like it is right now with wind chill?
Very well, maybe. A few years ago, it was definitely negative something when we were up there. And for those that don't know, New London, Wisconsin is just about 25 minutes short of Green Bay. So if you're a Packer fan, you want to come check out the
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Lambeau.
Yep.
You can come play in my amazing C tier.
Hopefully, is that a Saturday or a Sunday?
That will be Saturday, so you could watch the Packer game hopefully on Sunday.
Go to the Packer game.
Yeah.
Get some tickets.
Yeah, those are easy to come by.
Yeah, January 24th. Hopefully the Packers are still playing.
Exactly. So that's a PDGA C tier. I know that's going on in a couple of weeks. I wanted to throw it out there to anyone in the Midwest. And then one of the fun events, and it's not so much I'm trying to plug the event to come play the Random Beaver Roundup 10.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to mention is the format for it. And it's something I've been doing now. This will be its 10th year. We play
I've got a trophy
at a
somewhere.
super short course. These work well because they're so super short. The first round is just best shot from the long tees, which are still incredibly easy. Then the middle round, or the second round, we take every single player that's in the event, regardless of division, and we do a completely random round. So if you signed up in Pro or Pro Masters or Advanced Women, it doesn't matter. It's completely a random round. That has its own prize pool, so to speak. A little bit of the entry fee goes toward that. And then the third round, again, it's a super short and easy course, even in the winter. The third round, we do modified worst shot. Some call it, I believe, tough shot. But it's modified worst shot off the short tees. And what's cool about that format is if you and I were partnered up and I throw it under the basket and you throw it 100 feet away, we have to then go play from your lie. Yep. And we continue to do that until at least one of us has then made it.
Completes the hole.
So true worst shot means you both have to make it.
Yep.
And in tough shot, once it's in the basket, the hole is completed.
Done.
So it's a really fun and unique format. It's not done a lot, but if the course is easy enough, it won't take forever. If you go to a really, really tough course and then always have to take the worst shot of you and your partner, it could take forever. Yeah. But when you're playing on a short and easy course, it's a lot of fun. So Random Beaver Roundup 10, 3 rounds, 2 count toward the overall score, and then 1 round that's random in the middle. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so, I don't play a lot of events much anymore, but that's usually one I tend to hit because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just something unique, and what we will look for is people to submit different formats. I mean, there's your obvious best shot and worst shot.
Yeah.
There's your obvious alternate shot, and then some games like Wolf. There's a lot of different formats. If you've got a really cool or unique format or suggestion you want to send in, we could talk about it on a future podcast for sure.
So let's get to our guests. Something that doesn't seem to roll off the tongue very easily, which is Nate and Valarie Doss.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about how do you pluralize that? The Dosses.
The Dosses would be DOSS apostrophe.
I don't
The
think
apostrophe comes after the S.
I think that's only if it's possessive. I'm not an English major.
I don't know.
I don't know how
Dana's
Doss,
the teacher.
Yeah, Doss is.
Dosses.
The Dosses are. Yeah, I don't know. We'll ask them. Maybe they'll know.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get them on the line here in just a moment.
All right, look who it is, folks. We have Nate and Val
What's up?
Doss.
Hello,
Yeah.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey! Long time no see. Well, for
Yeah.
me, not so much for Terry. He follows you around.
Yeah, I'm like
Stalker, man.
No doubt.
enough with the Discraft plugs already. All right, we got it. We
Yeah.
got
Oh, nice.
I had to get it in there. Sorry.
I know how you operate. All right, well, welcome to the show, guys. We're going to put you on blast a little bit. How many of the previous podcasts have you guys consumed? All of them? Is that the right answer? All 8 you've watched?
Oh
all?
yeah, definitely. Yep.
At least 10 minutes earlier tonight, I saw.
That's all I did all day today. Was I watched all 8. Just,
Good.
you know.
I don't know what else you'd be doing.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. For those who somehow don't know, we have Nate and Valarie Doss, 4-time and 3-time world champions. Nate, do you always consider that junior world title?
She also has 4 as well.
Okay, so is that clarify all
She
of them
won
then?
a junior.
Okay, and then Nate, didn't you win a junior as well though?
Yep.
Okay, so 8 world championships between the two of you. For some reason, I thought it was only 7. Pardon me.
Yeah,
That's okay.
how dare you?
Rookie.
Yeah, I know.
For a guy who follows them as much as you do, you'd think you'd know.
I know.
I mean, you know, you're doing what you're doing. I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got the both of you on the show recently married in October, and then you took a big trip right away. Tell everyone about your honeymoon.
Well, we took a week to decompress. I mean, it was such a party, the wedding, having everybody in town. You know, it took about a week to get everybody out of town, out of our house. But yeah, we took a trip, and our honeymoon was in Thailand.
How was that?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you know, it was probably one of the first trips. Oh, actually, the second trip I think we've both taken without our golf discs and just kind of left everything at home and just had 2 weeks in Thailand, and it was incredible. You know, it was an unforgettable trip, and I think that's what your honeymoon's supposed to be. I've only ever been on one of them, so it worked out pretty well.
I hope so. Otherwise, you're going to get a look from Val.
Yeah, exactly. But we did meet up with a disc golfer, Luke Butch, from New York. He's living in Thailand. He lives in Bangkok, and so he kind of showed us around the city. And then we had about a week down on the coast at the beaches. So it was really, really a lot of fun for sure.
So now you just mentioned something that you didn't take your golf disc. What I was already thinking was you didn't have your blue van. Was that weird, traveling around places and not driving your own blue van around?
It was.
Thailand's a crazy experience because it's not your standard transportation. I think we counted like 12 different ways
Of transport,
we got to some different location. I mean, like 5 different boats.
Yeah, trains, planes, automobiles, boats.
Back of a scooter.
No rickshaws.
No,
but
okay.
we couldn't find any. But yeah, it was a little weird to not have the van, mainly for the sleeping factor, you know, because we're always sleeping in the back of the van. But kind of nice, and really it would have been way too hot. It averaged about 95 degrees when we were there the whole time.
100% humidity.
It was super humid, so we were glad to be inside with the air conditioning most of the time.
95 degrees with 100% humidity. Are you sure you're not talking about Portland Worlds this last year? Because that was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Thailand winter. Exactly. Who wants to be there this summer?
Wow. So what is it like having the off season? We've talked to a lot of different pros, and a lot of them handle it. A lot of you guys handle it in different ways. What is an off season or some downtime? What does that mean to you guys?
Well, I think our off season was cut way short. Well, it was. Having the wedding at the end of October was literally right when our season ended, and we came back home doing all that, then the honeymoon 2 weeks later, then that pushes us back another 2 weeks. So we're kind of in the middle of our off season right now, but I mean, it's only been 2 months long.
And we have a tournament in 3 weeks, basically. So
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, an off season is you put the discs in the closet, and for me personally, it's always been at least 1 month. 1 month of the year, I try to put the discs away. Don't look at them, don't touch them, don't play, and just try to basically do other things. Go on a bike ride or go on a hike, or just things we can't do during the summertime because we're playing so much. And since moving here to Oregon, we've really been lucky because we have a gym basically in our backyard, and we go over there and do yoga and swimming and do all kinds of just kind of cross training things. So an off season to me is just that you kind of have to take off, but you always are working towards somehow getting better at basically our job, and so that's kind of how I look at it. Val puts the disc away for a little bit longer than I do, I would say. But yeah, it's a time for the brain and the body to heal.
Yeah.
So
after all that traveling, you need some time to settle down, not focus on where you have to be to stay the next weekend or what tournament you're going to next. It's good for your mind and body to relax.
Real quick, if you guys have the audio on in the background, you might want to kill that.
I don't think we do.
You don't think you do? Okay.
We could probably turn this down. Yeah, we could turn that down. There you go.
Oh, wow.
All right. Just getting a little audio feedback. So.
All right. Speaking to what you were just talking about, you guys, the different things. When I did talk to Val earlier, she said she was doing just that, going over to the gym for yoga today. Oregon seems to be synonymous with outdoor activities, which I know you guys like to participate in, the hiking and all those other things, but it also with some brewing of beer maybe, or something along those lines, or beer consumption. Maybe that's a Wisconsin thing, but I know there's a lot of that action going on out there. How do you guys feel like you fit into that entire environment and atmosphere and culture?
I don't think that's true. I don't know. If there was a brewery close to us, I think we'd go or know about it. I don't know.
Or maybe one in the garage or basement or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I know, Terry, you've seen it, and it's about 3 years ago, right after the Charlotte Worlds, Val and I kind of launched ourselves into the homebrewing of beer world, and it's been a great ride so far. Being that our job is most people's hobbies, we're playing disc golf, which I would say is 98% of the disc golfing community's hobby, as opposed to maybe their job. It was great to find a hobby, and homebrewing was that for us. And Val got into it just as much as I did, and it's been great being here in Bend. There's about, I would really say there's about 10 breweries here in the town, and then there's probably another 8 in the whole region.
Yeah, it's getting upwards around 20, but we're just Bend is a mecca for brewing. Brewers and definitely home brewers. So while we're on the off season too, we're catching up. We're part of the local home brewers club, another women's beer club, and just it's become one of our passions, and it's an awesome thing, to have that hobby outside of disc golf all the time.
Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking to that, is that maybe a life or a livelihood that you guys could see if disc golf isn't going to be, you'll probably play it forever, but as you get into your years and maybe disc golf isn't as intense and traveling every single weekend and doing all those types of things, do you see yourself in maybe a career? I know, Nate, you, for instance, have a background in IT and computers. Do you guys see yourself in some kind of a brewing or, business of that sort?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that would hopefully eventually be our goal. We would love a brewery that has a disc golf theme around it. It won't be a disc golf brewery per se, but it will have baskets and discs, and we're always going to be a part of the sport. Disc golf is our life. It has been for a long time, but you can't be an athlete forever. And brewing has been a passion of ours for 3 years. We love the scene, and I think craft beer specifically and disc golf go together really, really well. So it's kind of it would, I think, be a fairly easy transition, but it's a lot of hard work too. So for now, we're extremely focused on our careers and playing disc golf, but I think pretty soon, you never know what's around the next bend, but hopefully we have that opportunity before you know it.
I see what you did there, around the next bend. Anyway,
yeah.
What I will say is I was thoroughly impressed. I know you guys, and a lot of people talk about, I'm a home brewer. I brew this and I do that, and we've got good friends that brew. But you guys take it very seriously. I mean, you have some serious equipment. You've invested serious money, and I know you have all of your recipes and all of those things. If you had to give yourself maybe a rating in terms of brewing and how serious you take it, what would you guys rate yourselves? If we're looking at a PDGA rating scale. What would you not necessarily the quality, but let's say how intent you are with it and how serious you are with it. What kind of rating would you 10, 20, 10, 15?
If we were just rating the serious factor, I would say it's about a 1200.
Oh, wow.
Okay. We take it extremely serious, and we test all of our beers. We do blind taste testing against commercial beers. We do all kinds of things that maybe a commercial brewery would do. Quality-wise, I think we do pretty well. And in fact, last winter, Val and I won a gold medal up in a Seattle brew contest. So one of our beers, won, the overall beer. It was a pumpkin ale that won in that category specifically.
And you got to taste it at the wedding.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Mm-hmm. It was out by then.
No, it was all gone. But anyway.
But we do take it serious. I think that just comes from us being, athletes for as long as we have. When we start working on something, we get really into it and try to do it as best as we can. So, we're always working at it. And even during the disc golfing season, I'm writing recipes on my computer and reading books, and it's just something to take your mind off, maybe even for me, like a tournament like the World Championships.
Well, I was going to ask that, with your background being a little more, I mean, one of your passions being technology, are you more of a technical brewer, or is it more kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, or are you more precise? Do you have, kind of a set exactly how to do it?
I'm very technical as a brewer. I like to hit my times and temperatures and ingredient levels and water levels and all those kinds of things that go into brewing. But there's still got to be a craft about it. There's still got to be an artistic part of it, and that's where the creativity and the fun comes in to brewing beer. But
yeah, it's a lot like cooking when you break it down. So that's how I can get into it and be a little bit more creative. And I'm always giving Nate ideas for the next beer, or just maybe you should try this style, or we should go for this kind of taste. And yeah, so we actually have a gingerbread beer. Ginger snap beer in the works. So fun things like that where you can get creative. There's a world beyond the Coors Light.
Now, One of the questions, Trisha was asking a question on the board, and she had just asked, what is your favorite style of beer to brew?
To brew and to drink for me is the India Pale Ale kind of realm, the hoppy, bitter ales. Those are absolutely my favorite. Different colors, different types, but that is really where I like to brew and live.
Yeah, and we're in the Great Northwest, so this is where the hops grow. So you get the best of the hoppy beers, and yeah, we love our IPAs.
Definitely.
Now, speaking of hops, I was there when the unveiling of the gorgeous picture behind you actually was presented as a wedding gift to you guys. And one of the things that you can see in the background are the hops. Talk a little bit about that piece of artwork that, I know people are seeing it on the screen. Talk a little bit about that piece of artwork and some of the cool things that might be integrated in there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Val.
So it was a present given to us by a bunch of our local friends. It was actually presented to us in the after party after our wedding, and they did an unveiling, and it's actually a Cam Todd painting, and he's incorporated some really cool things that are special to us. You have to get in to it a little bit more to see. But there's a, maybe you can see.
Yeah.
So you can see the two people grasping. There's a basket in there. There's a van.
Yep.
I don't know if you can make it out, but
Yeah,
there's
we
a lot
can.
of
In the
little
branches, yeah.
Yep.
kind of magic eye
Yeah.
things. If you look a little closer, you can see, things that are special to Nate and I.
Yeah.
And it was, of all the gifts we got, it was one that I think really kind of surprised us the most, because it was a group of people that gave it to us, and Cam did a really great job, and I think it's something that me and Val will definitely have up forever, and it means a lot to us. So if Cam's out there, he's probably busy right now, but thanks, Cam. Really appreciate it.
No, it's amazing. I know Santa Cruz is written in there, and
Ohio
is written in there, along with the island where you guys had
Yep.
proposed. Yeah, so
Yes.
there's a lot of really cool things in there, and I think probably every time you look at that, there's a chance to find something that you may have missed earlier.
Definitely.
Do you feel like you've located all like 93 things in that picture?
I've drawn a couple more. So.
There you go. Just to
Well,
keep people
and
confused.
The more craft beers, craft IPAs you have, the more things you probably will see.
Yeah, that was going to be my next thought is, I think I see hole 17 over there, maybe. Awesome.
For sure.
So talk a little bit, you had kind of prefaced it regarding 2015 and where you're going in a few weeks, being the Aussie Open. Talk about the Aussie Open, and then maybe some of your other plans that you're looking forward to here in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, we're excited to go back to Australia. We were there back in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
We went for an Australian Disc Golf Championships, and we had planned this. We got the tickets 2.5 months apart, and didn't know what we were going to do after the tournament. But meeting the people there that weekend of the Australian Disc Golf Championships, we basically laid out our 2.5 month trip. The people there are incredible, so friendly, outgoing, and we're excited to go back and revisit with friends that we met now 4 years ago. And yeah, and we were in Perth for that tournament, so we're going back to the same place it all started 4 years ago.
And I mean, it's really incredible to see, what Chris Finn, who is the event director there for the tournament, has been able to do in 4 years. When we went to Australia the first time, the sport is, and I think it still is in its very infancy. It's just kind of getting going, and he's getting a lot of people, and it's an extremely large country. From Perth to Sydney, you're looking at least 4-hour flight, in an airplane. It's comparable to the size of the United States, but obviously there's not much in the middle. So we're really excited about it, and I think we're really excited that Australia is able to have a PDGA major, and I'm pretty confident that they're going to be able to come through with a great event, and we're really excited to be there. It's a little difficult, I will be honest, that it's in January, just because we're so focused on our season here in the U.S. But nevertheless, it's a compromise that we're willing to make to head on out there for sure.
You'll find a way. You'll compromise to get out to Australia.
Yeah, hey.
What do they say? Hashtag first world problems. Disc golf problems, right? That's awesome. Now, you guys have seen so much of the U.S. Talk about some of your other international travels that maybe you look forward to, or where you haven't necessarily been, or you want to get back to because it's not just like playing down the road. Where else are you guys planning for 2015?
Okay.
Where are we going?
Yeah.
I haven't even laid down the schedule yet.
Yeah, I've gone through the schedule, and that's really one of the hard things about kind of setting a tour is, where do you want to go? What tournaments make sense? And, there's guys and girls out there that play throughout the year, and I think it's very well known that Val and I don't play as many events as the next person may. Mm-hmm. So we are very selective. We try to pick the best tournaments and the tournaments that fit into our schedule as best we can. But definitely internationally, we have 2 majors going on, one that is in Sweden and one that's in Finland, along with obviously Australia in January. And those tournaments are, I think, in July or late June, early July, somewhere in there. And they're back to back. So it's kind of one of those things that I'm looking forward into the season going, wow, we have to play 2 majors in a row, one in Sweden, one in Finland. We had a pretty good time at, we've had good times at both of them. So I think we're really excited about that. I don't know how excited I am about the back-to-back phase of it. But, nevertheless, again, it's a compromise that I think we will make to
I think
to travel all the way over there and see all of our great friends internationally, for sure. But also, we plan to play every NT this season. Last year, we did miss a few national tours in the springtime, just because it didn't quite fit into our season. But this time around, we're gonna try to make all the NTs. And that's really about it. We're mainly focusing our season on the national tours and the majors this year.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what we're doing, Val.
All right.
So Val, can you talk a little bit about the women's event this year? I know you've been pretty instrumental in that in the past and kind of promoting that. What's in store for the future? Do you know?
Well, I think you were talking about the women's global event.
Yep.
That happened last year. It's a biannual event, so it won't be happening this year. It'll be happening again in 2016. And probably around the same time, around Mother's Day weekend. We're just, the momentum has been incredible. The first year we had about 600 players. Last year we had over 1,000. So it's women from all over the world coming together on one day and playing disc golf basically against each other virtually. But yeah, so that event won't be happening this year, but we'll keep everybody informed. We have all the information on the PDGA website. If you go pdga.com/women, that's where all the information for the women's committee and the women's global event will be.
Nice.
Perfect.
Now, Nate, in talking to you, I think it might have been last year, even 2 years ago, and you just alluded to it about not playing as many weekends. I think you said in March and April, tornado season, whatever that might be, you're not necessarily driving the big blue van all over the country. When you look for an event, is it tough to decide, well, this event's good and they've got good amenities or good people? I mean, what will it take to bring you to a new event? I guess that's really the long way of getting at that question. What might draw you away from a standard event that you always go to or you like to possibly pull you into a new event?
I mean, for me, it's and this happens a lot. We get maybe through Facebook or maybe through our websites, we'll get an email that's saying, hey, we're running this tournament, it's really going to be great. And I try to take the time to write back to all of them and either say, hey, well, think about it, but for me, it's just a lot of times I'm looking for the other players that we play with on the week in, week out basis to maybe mention, wow, this tournament in, place A is really great. Maybe you guys should think about it. And I mean, that's kind of, we try to listen to what is going on out there. We try not to rush across the country for, a few extra $1,000 for a tournament that we've maybe never heard of. It's never been run before. We've been doing this a long time. Do I know exactly what it would take to get me to a new event? No. Am I always open to playing a new event? Yes. So it just all kind of depends on the season and what we're really looking to do for that year, basically. Mm-hmm. I don't know how Val. I think she feels the same.
And it, if it's a good event we've heard about, or if it fits along our touring schedule, we'll consider it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any new events planned this year?
What's that? New events?
Yeah, do you have any new events planned this year? Is there anything? She's looking at Nate because
I honestly I don't think there are very many new events besides the Ledgestone.
Okay.
That's in your guys' area, and that again, this I think is a really perfect example. They've worked their way up from potentially a B tier in the very beginning to a really good A tier to where me personally, I started hearing around the groups, on tour, like, oh, the Ledgestone, and and then it's getting coverage, and and they worked their way up all the way to being a national tour. And that's really where, it all of a sudden is like, boom, it's on our radar, to where we're saying, wow, we need to hit that, because it's important for our, what we like to really do, playing the biggest, best events. And the PDGA is basically saying it's a great event by making it an NT, ideally. And so that one's definitely a new one. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot of new ones out there for us this year. But then again, you never know how the year's going to go.
Sure.
And sometimes things fall into place only a month ahead of time. Mm-hmm. When you get out on the road, there might be, because we'll have some dead spots, and we might end up in Ohio out at the Jenkins compound or something like that. And we might fit another tournament in there. So we're always open to anything that's possible.
Well, two things to that. First of all, you guys have the opposite mentality I have, in that if I'm interested in playing, I see where all the good pros are, and I go the opposite way as far as I can to give me a chance to do well. But secondly, being from the Midwest, and Jonny and I have been around for a while, a few events to throw out there. Obviously, they're getting blown up on the board. Things like the Manitowoc in the Park. I actually referenced that earlier. The Manitowoc in the Park is going to be a huge A tier. It might conflict with your overseas. We'll look into that, but that's certainly one that we can vouch for. On a couple of really nice courses here in Wisconsin. We had some top tier players here last year. And I know Matt Seary from Heiserbaum has reached out to you guys down in Texas. He made it sound like you guys weren't thoroughly impressed a few years ago when you visited there, but they've done all of the things taking your feedback, which is so critical. I know you guys and Avery and so many of our top pros, if they provide that feedback to these events, they may be unsanctioned 1 year or a B tier 1 year, but if they take that constructive criticism from guys like you, next thing you know, they can be an A tier or a national tour. So, I know Matt is definitely reaching out to all of the players as well, down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for the Nick Hyde Memorial. So I wanted to throw that out there just so you guys know.
Yeah, definitely.
So good stuff.
Yeah, and there was another one, even like an event like the Mad City Open. Mm-hmm. I know that I played that tournament years and years and years ago. I think it was 2003 the last time I was there, which seems like forever ago now, but it was an NT back then. The courses were fantastic. And I've always looked at it on the schedule going, man, I really wish I'd love to get back there, but for whatever reason it just doesn't quite fit into the schedule, and it's tough, like sometimes the best weekends are the weekends right after the Worlds or before an NT, and sometimes you just can't get to those places physically. So
in fact,
but I think you made a great point, the fact that any criticism that comes from Val or I, as the only people we can speak for, is only said because we want the event to get better, and we applaud everybody who does that. And it's not like we're genius. We're the best tournament directors in the world, but we only can give what the player's perspective is.
No, you guys have been great, and I know, like I said, Matt has done good things. And speaking to Mad City, we were just talking the other day. Mad City's interested in SmashBoxx coming to cover it live. And nice. There is an element. It's literally 75 minutes or 60 minutes from us. And like you said, phenomenal courses, really good tournament. I know they're going to be stepping up and doing some big things this year. But it's always this hit or miss because they are the weekend after Worlds. And that's the thing we've been seeing in the last few years. That used to be kind of an ideal spot, like the week before or the week after. But like you said earlier, you sometimes need that break. You need that breather, that way to relax or whatever. So the weekend immediately following a big tournament like that, it could be hit or miss whether you guys are on board with it. But just so you know, SmashBoxx is working with them to possibly put it out there and be live, and like you said, great
that'll
courses.
Get them there.
Yeah,
well,
sure. Yeah. It's a wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of those guys, but. Anyway, is there anything you'd like to share with the world? I mean, there's the obvious things people talk about. Oh, is one of you going to switch to Innova, or is one of you going to switch to Discraft? There's all of that. I'll say I know that you guys are very committed to your companies who treat you guys very well. So I don't think there's any real rumor or speculation there. Anything you guys want to share before we let you go here tonight, though?
I don't know. Are there any questions on the chat board? I saw that thing blowing up.
Oh, it is blowing up. And I will go on record. You guys have officially broken a new record for most live viewers that we've had here in our 9th episode.
Wow.
So thank you guys. The double Doss bump or something like that.
It's a dance move.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think we should get into
Perfected in
that.
Phoenix, probably.
Yeah. I don't know if we should go there. We'll check the wedding tapes on that one. No. Val, are you pregnant? Is that no? Any?
What?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Okay. You'd have to tease that one out Dana style if you were.
Right.
No. Pregnant, no. Switching sponsors, no. Come to all our tournaments. There's a lot of that. No, I don't. I think that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, kind of along the lines of Dana's, I'd like to announce that there probably will be a big announcement in the future from somebody at some point.
Very nice.
It might not be me, but I will announce that there will be some big announcement. And it might not even be in disc golf. It could be in anything.
But it'll be here on SmashBoxx.
It'll be here on
But
SmashBoxx.
SmashBoxx will be covering. There's no
First
question
to
about
cover.
it.
Do you
all
bring
I
any
would
of
like
your?
to say really is that Val and I look forward to another great season in disc golf, and we thank all of our friends and fans and family that have supported us in everything that we do, and we look forward to seeing you again. And Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, it's fun.
So
I wish we could see everybody that's watching us.
Exactly.
That might be weird.
Yeah, that would be odd. Do you bring any of your homebrew with you on the road at all? Are you able to? I don't know what the laws are, transportation, whatnot. Whether there's an amount or can.
Don't tell anybody,
Oh yeah.
but
Hey,
maybe.
don't be bringing up these laws.
I don't know anything. I'm not a cop. I swear.
Really?
No. Or is it possible for a disc golfer to reach out and be able to get some from you?
Well, you're certainly not going to be able to. You can't ship beer through the mail.
Nope.
That for sure.
No, the envelopes tend to disintegrate.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, really, the main place that we've had basically the bulk of our homebrew is down at the Memorial because.
Okay.
You guys are living life, living large.
Awesome.
All right.
Sir.
So for Nate and Val, anything else, Johnny?
Yeah, people can find you at On Tour Disc Golf on Twitter, correct? And then you guys each have Facebook pages and follow those, or is that correct?
Like them and stuff?
We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter.
Yeah, I think. Well, we both have our own website. So there's ValerieJenkins.com. There's NateDoss.com. Those are great places to kind of see our tours and what's in our bag, what we carry, all that good stuff. But yeah, we have Facebook pages, we have Twitter accounts. On Tour Disc Golf was something that Val and I came up with, and it just kind of we try to post to it as much as possible, basically.
Yeah, for travels.
For how we're traveling together. So
yeah, and for the disc golf world, I'm still going to be considered Valarie Jenkins, even though I'm now Valarie Doss. But we're keeping it simple on that end. Now it's all confusing, but
I think we got it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We appreciate it, and we will, we'll probably see your names out in the PDGA website.
Yeah, Aussie Open, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys at the Memorial.
Okay.
All right. Take care and have a great night.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
All
Happy
right.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Take care. All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is Nate Doss and Valarie Doss, which, yes, is very odd to say Valarie Doss. They legally had changed the name as a married couple, but just to keep things easy and separate, she's going to mainly still be found as Valarie Jenkins.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense. So thank you guys for joining us. Hope everybody enjoyed all of that. Such an amazing couple and lots of fun to be around. As you can see, still enjoying their off season and the honeymoon aura. Is that what you would call it? Something like that. They're always like that, though. Fun, upbeat, and having a good time. So let's move on in. We are catching up on any technical issues that we might be having. I think.
Yeah, there was a little blip in the bandwidth. I think it was just maybe Skype taking up more bandwidth than we were used to. It just happened at the end. So once we booted them,
get them out of here.
Yeah, once they kicked off, now everything looks like it's running hunky dory again.
Yeah,
so.
as someone says, I hear Korea is hacking us. So, I'm not sure if we're like Seth Rogen and you'd be James Franco. I'd be Seth.
Well, yeah,
duh. You're so talented. I understand, and better looking.
That's what I was thinking.
That's where you're going with
and
this.
not deaf in one ear.
What's that?
Yeah.
All right. So, what else do we have on the agenda? We're gonna rifle through a number of other quick things here.
I think we're gonna get to the social media. What we've seen out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those wonderful things that Nate and Val were just talking about, where you can find them. There's a fine line we need to draw here. We're not journalists.
No,
No.
we don't pretend.
We don't pretend to
we
be.
never pretend to be.
And we don't want this to become like a TMZ kind of thing, but seeing as how they've put it out there, it's been fairly public knowledge, very public knowledge. We're going to discuss real quickly about Scott Stokeley.
Yep.
Now, last week, Tuesday, we had a story about him going out on a date at an event, and how the whole event was awesome, played wingman, but it didn't seem to work out. As of right now, he's getting married in 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks. Not to the girl he went on the date with.
Oh, no.
of
The
course
new girl.
not. Yes.
Kristen
McCauley.
Yes. So
I believe this. I don't know the exact story, but from what I've seen and what we've been able to kind of piece together, maybe we can get Scott on at some point in the future to talk about it. Scott's been looking for a companion to tour with, someone or whatever, and I don't know how exactly they met, what service or how,
I believe it was Tinder specifically, but
was it? Okay,
sure.
So
Okay.
he met Kristen on Friday. They were talking on a Friday. She flew out to Florida, or got out to Florida. Is that right?
Maybe North Carolina.
Or North Carolina.
She might have been in the same city as him. We need to do more
Was it?
research.
I know
but
she's from, or she had some Colorado.
They were near each
contact,
other.
but
Okay.
They were near each other, and they seem to have hit it off pretty well.
They're in love.
They're in love.
So that's
and
that's
now,
hitting
and now
it off.
they're getting married.
Yeah. So very interesting. And again, this is just a follow up from last week where he was searching, and they are hitting it off. And I know one of the unique criteria that he had put in some of the profile that he was putting out there was that he's looking for a travel companion, a girlfriend, a travel companion, and someone that could help with some of the social media, some of the PR, some of those things as he's getting his company off the ground and selling discs and playing in tournaments. So he's busy, so he needs somebody to help him do all of those things, and it makes sense that if you have a love of your life that can help with those things,
It just works out.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So they've been very active on Facebook.
We should have asked Nate and Val about any sort of tips they have being newlyweds.
Yes, we should have.
For the new couple, the blue couple.
Yes, we should have. She, as many of you have seen, Scott has dyed his hair blue, and he's gotten a couple of disc golf tattoos, and Kristen has now dyed her hair blue, and they're just they're getting ready. I think one of the posts I saw was that they're preparing his tour van or tour RV or truck.
Are they going to have a blue van too?
I don't think so.
Maybe they can buy Nate and Val's blue van.
Yeah, maybe they could. I just know that they are out there, and they're putting themselves out there, and it's awesome because they're obviously having fun with it. And it's just really exciting to see, as we've talked about before, Scott Stokeley, a legend of the game.
For sure.
World distance holder, Final Four at Worlds for a couple of different years. Clearly one of the best players to ever play the game. To just see this resurgence in the sport is new and it's exciting.
Yep.
And again, if he's in love, that is great for everyone to see.
One of my favorite Stokeley stories, it was from Am Worlds in Kansas City. We were I think we were out at Rosedale.
Yes, Rosedale.
And he was doing a distance showing, so to speak, and he asked for volunteers to go shag some plastic. So I go running out to the field as far as I think he's going to throw, because I know he can throw a good disc. And at some point he goes, no. Closer,
he starts
closer,
waving you
waving
in.
me back
standing.
in.
Yep.
And so I'm like, oh, all right, maybe he's going to throw a mid-range or a putter. So I come in probably about 150 feet, and he bombs one probably about 200 feet over my head, about 200 feet past me. And I don't think I've ever run so fast in my life to try to get that disc.
Yeah, and the funny part, because you were 500 or 600 feet away, when he started to wave you back in, and there was a whole crowd of people standing by him away from you, he was waving you back in, and everyone's like, oh, you're not going to throw it that far? And he's like, no, I want to throw it over his head. So we all laughed, and we knew what he was about to do, and it was very entertaining.
That's also a couple, less than a half hour later, that's where we saw him get drilled with a piece of plastic.
Yes, right to the chest.
Yeah, people were throwing into a big net, and he was doing a
speed gun.
I've got a little mini somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's got my speed on it, and sure enough, someone tried to do, I think, a 360.
Yep.
Didn't misfired into the net. Held on to it and caught him right in the chest.
Yeah, like literally, like right
above his pec.
Yep.
And later that week, he showed us the bruise, and it was
enormous.
It was an enormous bruise,
and it was disgusting.
It was disgusting. It was one of the biggest bruises I may have ever seen. Kind of ridiculous. And you know what? He never didn't have a smile on his face. He took it like a champ, and he just kind of shook it off and was like, "Well, that's what we do." So
yeah, it was.
So he's always been that kind of guy. So hopefully, we wish nothing but the best for him and his.
Clearly,
future endeavors.
We're going to stay on top of this story. I mean, maybe it'll be a new segment, where Scott's tour. I mean,
Scott's
that's definitely
life will be like TMZ or something.
Like I said, almost every week we got updated with Katrina Allen winning every single weekend. Well, maybe now we'll just tune in and double check where Scott is and how things are going with him.
That's funny. Eric McCabe says he was there, which I don't think I wouldn't remember at the time. I think there were only about 20 or 25 people there at the time, but
yeah, it was.
That's kind of funny.
Something certainly memorable back in 1999, I believe, because I think a few days later he was spotting on the hole.
He was the distance champion at the time.
Yeah. Yep, at 200.01 meters.
Yep.
And he was spotting on a hole later in the week, and that's when he showed up and showed me the bruise, I know. And then it was, I think, a week or two later, he was heading off to Rochester, New York, where he finished again in the Final Four.
Yep.
Russell had won it, but spoiler alert. But he finished in the Final Four.
I was just about to watch that, too. Darn you, Terry.
And he had this huge bruise on himself, so pretty amazing.
Paul Macbeth in the chat board says he's giving out. He thinks Stokeley's giving out blue wigs next weekend is for his final night. So everybody watching could be wearing a blue wig to support Scott.
Smashbox colors are blue. Maybe there's some collaboration here. I don't know. We're just thinking ahead.
So,
all right, let's move on.
It looks like Brett Hansen-Begg out of Minnesota is sponsoring a new wheelchair.
No,
wheel.
Let me clarify.
Oh, sure.
I saw this last night, and this is awesome. I'm going to hit refresh right now on my browser because I looked into this last night. Brett Hansen-Begg had been in a car accident along with one of his good friends many years ago. It might have been 2008, I believe. And after being in a coma for a number of months, Brett had recovered, and he's out there doing a lot of different things now, including some artwork, and he's very active, and his family.
I saw him drilling forehand putts from his wheelchair a couple months ago.
Yeah, he's not messing around. He was recently picked up by Prodigy.
Awesome.
I saw that recently, and then his family, Alan and Greta, who I've known for many years. Alan had worked on.
Always been around here.
Yeah, exactly, working on Long T and having that company for a number of years, and his amazing wife Greta, and they're just family so awesome and supportive.
Greta in the chat right now.
And one of the things we had seen last night, I should say, is that thanks to Jane, there is a fund anything program out there right now where we're trying to raise money for Brett to get a new powered wheelchair.
Okay.
So he's got a chair that he's in now. However, it's prohibitive of him being able to get around a bunch of different courses. And this powered chair, which you can see in a video, we'll link to it. This powered chair looks like an army style chair. I mean, it's obviously very, very robust, and that would give him the accessibility and the mobility to get around a lot more courses. And as we talked about earlier, we're blessed with some hills and whatnot in the Midwest.
Yeah,
including
blessed
Minnesota.
For us.
Yeah, blessed for us.
Not so much.
Yes, blessed for us as opposed to the Florida topography.
No, I was thinking not for Brett. I mean, it's
correct.
Gotta be tough.
It's been challenging for him. So I believe when I went out and contributed, it was around a couple $100 had been contributed. The fund had just started, so to speak. Yep. I contributed to it immediately. I contributed, and then I realized there was a video. I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to give money. Yeah. But then I watched the video. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I already gave money, so that's good. And I am right now calling out everyone that is out there. Watch the video or not. I mean, you should, but go out and contribute. Brett is just an amazing individual. His family is amazing.
Yeah, Alan's phenomenal.
He's has so much just power to live and to do so many more exciting things. And he was a disc golfer, and he was involved with all these different sports before his accident. And he's active, and he wants to get out there and be part of the disc golf community, but he struggles again with the mobility. So go out there, please. Again, we're going to link to it as quickly as we can. And we want you to contribute as of this very minute. Again, I looked at it last night. There was a few $100 donated. It's up to $1,365 right now, and they have a contribution goal of $20,000, and I believe it's got 91 days to go. I don't think we should have any problem getting that $20,000. That's the expense of this.
Yeah, so go to Fund Anything, do a search, for Brett needs a new power chair. And we'll keep track of this. We'll follow up maybe next week or the week after about where it's at. So right now it's at $1,365. By next week, I'd love to see it at least at $4,000.
I was going to say 13,000 is what I'd like to see.
I'd love to see it there, but I'll be more realistic. But I would love to see.
Yeah, no, I think no brainer. At $1,300 in less than 24 hours, there should be no problem getting that up and over that $20,000 mark in the long run. So we'd love to see it. Again, it's near and dear to me because I've known them. Brett played in Wisconsin along with his dad, and we just love to see this happen. So please go out and help out Brett. And you can give anywhere from $1 to $5 to $500. You can give any amount that you want. And then I know Brett makes cards. He makes greeting cards and pictures and whatnot. If you choose, you can get a greeting card pack from him or something along those lines as well. If you want the return. Or you want, some kind of gift back or whatever. So go out there and do it. We'll put a link out there. Thank you guys for helping out. I know Minnesota is all behind this, and I know Wisconsin and the rest of the Midwest. We want to see the entire country and all of our viewers out there supporting this. So good luck to you, Brett. We want to see you get a brand new power chair out there, buddy. All right. What else do we have on the agenda as we come down the home stretch? I guess I'll just quickly announce, if you're interested in throwing further, you can go out and watch my latest vlog, and it's not with me doing it, that's for sure. Drew Gibson, I had caught up with him at the 2014 USDGC. They were doing the distance competition. I pulled Drew aside for a few minutes. I had him launch a whole bunch of drivers. I had him launch his putters and his mid-ranges, and he throws a mile. He throws very far, not quite record-breaking like Simon Lizotte, but for the age of 19 and just coming into his own, he throws far. So brand new video blog out there as normal on the Disc Golf Guy video channel on YouTube. You can go out and find that, and it's measly 6 or so minutes.
Refresh that page.
We will refresh the page.
Oh, it says here SETI111 says he's now $100 closer. Thank you, SETI. This isn't a telethon, but thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Obviously, the Henson Bags appreciate it. So
yeah, absolutely. Very cool. So video blog is out there by Drew Gibson. If you're subscribed to the PDJ newsletter, there's a link in there as well. So thank you to Drew, and look for a lot more video blogs coming from me in the next few weeks.
Definitely. All right, we're almost at our final stretch here, and as we always do, we're going to do some weekly picks. Terry, you had a surprise pick. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Oh, you go first.
I always go first, so I'll go first again.
All right.
I
went first last week because you didn't have one yet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
See? Okay, go on.
Good call. All right, so as many of you know, I'm an IT manager by day, which means I deal a lot with the tech.
Where's your cape?
I leave it. It's in it's dry cleaning right now. So, so a lot of this is kind of second nature to me. But the other day, I got an email or something popped up on my Facebook saying my Facebook had been hacked. Someone had tried logging in from Washington, D.C. I blamed Obama, whatever. And he clearly wants in my Facebook feed.
Yep.
And they forced me to reset the password or whatever. It made me think there is a service out there that I use called LastPass. Now, what LastPass is it's like a browser add-in that you have one master password, and then it keeps track of all your passwords securely. It encrypts them, all that other good stuff. You can automatically have it set very complex passwords that you would never have to remember. So as long as you have access to LastPass and you can install it on, I use Chrome, you can install it. There's actually a little icon right up here that no one can see but Terry. No matter where I log in, my password is saved, and I only need to know the one master LastPass password.
Okay.
And it comes as a mobile app as well. So, if you want to log into any websites on your phone, or I think it even integrates with some of the apps on your phone, it will keep track of all your passwords for you. It'll automatically, you can have it set to as complex a password as you want. You never have to remember it. You never even have to know what it is for that matter. I believe I heard they're working on a way just to do a full reset. Because in theory, you should never have the same password for more than one site in case someone does get a hold of it. But I'll say the first, I'm an IT manager, and I have the same password for a lot of crappy sites. I do have some different ones for banking and things like that. But, all those other ones are... the dumb password, the one I've had since college, the one that UWM handed me.
Yep. So
go out there if you're worried about security at all. Look into LastPass. Terry, I see your pick, and I am a little surprised at this.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I watched a couple of videos today. And it's the season of giving, and it's the new year, and there's a lot of exciting stuff. You also see a lot of BS out there. I watched a video, and it wasn't a music video.
There's a lot of videos on the internet that we shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah, exactly. This was an interview.
Okay.
And it was a little expose. It was a little piece on Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And I was very impressed.
Sure.
And what I'll say by that is she's my pick of the week. And although I don't own anything Taylor Swift, I've never been to a concert, none of that. However,
fan club.
There was this piece that she did that was done about her regarding what she did for Christmas. And some may think it's a little creepy, but not really. She and her team had gone out to some of her fans. I think they picked random fans on Facebook. People that are a member of her fan page, and they kind of dug around on their page a little bit and maybe found out their likes or found out something that's going on in their life, whatever. Did a little bit of research, which is clearly easy to do on Facebook, and then she went out, and it showed her going out and wrapping presents for these individuals, physically wrapping them herself. Yeah. Putting them in boxes and writing lengthy cards saying, hey, I saw, such and such, or, good luck with, whatever. And I was blown away because we all know there's fans and there's celebrities and there's so many different things you can do to reach out to these people.
Yep.
But the extent and the length that she went to do this, and then for even one fan, she physically showed up at someone's house that has a child, and she talked about the child and gave like a power go-kart or something to this child, and sat and talked with. It was just really awesome. And I know she gets a hard time from a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
I mean any celebrity of that status and stature.
There's the cynic out there that says, oh well, she should have done this and not put it out on Facebook and crap like that. But you know what? Anytime, if we do something like that, it's called stalking. But she goes out there and it's a great gesture. And I'll be honest, her tunes are catchy. Her newer ones. I'm not so much a country fan, but a lot of her new album that you hear, it's really hard to shake it off.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what you did there.
That's my one Terry joke.
I was impressed. I thought it was very cool. I know there's plenty of people that hate her, plenty of people that love her, all across the board, as with any celebrity or country, start into her pop stardom, blah, blah, blah. All those things. All of that aside, I thought it was very cool what she had done to reach out to her fans. She says she stays very connected with her fans, and I thought she really went above and beyond, and there's some genuine nature in what she had done. Like you said, she could have maybe done it without a camera around, and I believe that she would have. I don't think that was her intention, but it seemed like she took some genuine effort.
It's good PR either way, but
it is. That too.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to see someone.
She won me over. Okay.
I'm really drawing a blank at another song I wanted to throw out there, but I don't have one.
I don't know any others either, so I'll leave.
I know she's written songs about all her ex-boyfriends.
Yes, so. Which she talks. Yeah, whatever. Yes.
We're two 36-year-old men talking about Taylor Swift. This is fantastic. Anyway, I'm not even going to let you finish that thought. So, you people can find us on iTunes, on Stitcher, Pocket Cast, any podcasting app, YouTube,
Facebook,
the
Twitters.
We haven't gone into Instagram yet.
No, I have an Instagram account.
You do?
The Disc Golf Guy. I know, cleverly named.
I do not. So if you're out there, find us, subscribe to us, bump our numbers,
like us,
love us.
Can you love?
I'm sure you can. I'm sure there's something on Facebook to love people. You know, change your relationship status to in a relationship with Smashbox.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. We are going to have some pretty cool and exciting things that are already in the works for next week. We have not finalized our guests just yet. We've been talking to a number of different people. Clearly, as we learned with Paul last week, one of the things that we want to make sure is that whatever guest we have on hopefully has the best possible internet connection so that there's not any issues with the
we've been
Skype.
We've been communicating back and forth with a certain champ, and we're trying to work on something. Maybe once the bandwidth situation works itself out, but we will whatever we know, you guys will know. We'll follow us on Facebook, and you'll be the first to know of all of our guests. Yeah, and we'll keep you up to date with Scott Stokeley.
Yeah, the marriage. I mean,
next week we'll both have blue hair.
That's not a bad idea.
It's my first week in like 3 weeks without wearing a hat. So
it is, and I never wear a hat here on the podcast, which is very
you
odd.
wear one all the time, which is funny.
Do.
So
I do.
Anyway, go ahead and close us out, Tara.
I will close it out by saying thank you, of course, to Dana Vicich coming back here this week. We missed you last week, so thanks for joining us again, Dana. Of course, thanks to Nate and Valarie Doss for joining us. We're excited to hear and see how your 2015 gets started and unfolds throughout the year, so I'm sure we'll be catching up with you guys later. This was podcast number 9 here for Smashbox. We look forward to being on at 9 p.m. Central again next Tuesday night. For Jonny V and Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, that's all we've got. We'll see you next week when you step inside the Smashbox.